Good morning everyone, my name is Ryan. Let me bring you through the process of creating my final year project, Zone Out, a place where you can nap without any worry of being watched and oversleeping. As we know, sleep deprivation is a global issue, but it is being overlooked by a majority of us due to other factors in life such as balancing between work and family time. These two charts shows the relationship between factors which affect sleep and the benefits of taking power nap. So, rather than solving sleeping issue which varies between individuals, I will be focusing on power nap as it is unavoidable throughout the day. These are some research which have been done with regards to sleep deprivation globally and how nap can help improve this problem. Have you ever felt so tired during the day when you really need a nap so badly but you couldn't do so? And why? For this project, my target audience will be Singapore millennials transitioning to working life because other than being prioritized on work-life balance, these are the few reasons which affect their sleep cycle, such as changes in working hours, feel more restricted in terms of privacy, and environment is more competitive than school life. Hence, they will definitely need a power nap throughout the day. By starting off this project, I'll be doing these 3 steps, which is survey, interview and research. Starting off with surveys with millennials, then interview with selected individuals with different job and gender. Lastly would be do research based on the results. Of course, this cycle will keep repeating if I find more and more interesting points. After doing the surveys and interview, one word which is particularly interesting appear quite frequently throughout the survey and interview will be Chao-Keng. It is a Hokkien dialect in Singapore which people use to describe those who are sleeping on desk or absent from their table for some time. However, because of the culture here being different with countries such as Japan, which they call it inimuri, which refer to those who are very hardworking, hence taking nap anywhere they are. Unlike Singapore, it is not a positive thing to do. Hence, I will be working towards the direction of Chao-Keng and power nap. After which, I went to different working places in Singapore such as the CBD area and industrial office building to observe the surroundings and people working there. And these are a few locations which I feel there is potential to it as it fits the criteria of power nap and Chao-Keng. Next, these are the insights which I got from these locations. The one which is more interesting to me will be the hidden in plain sight, which refer to the most obvious yet dangerous location, and one good example will be at the bottom left, the coffee shop at the rooftop of the industrial office building. As it is uncommon to see that, maybe they are trying to give priority to the office building people. Lastly, this would be my chosen context and environment, staircase in an industrial area rather than CBD, as there is lesser security measures, but of course there are other reasons too. These are few reasons. The steps itself can be used as natural seats, the environment is more quiet than office, and the lights are often dimmer. As people are too used to using lift, the staircase is an underutilized area as it is only meant for one purpose, which is emergency. Hence, there will be less human traffic over there, which solve the issue of privacy and quietness. And there is place for them to lean on, such as the railings, but it will not be that comfortable. Before I proceed with designing concept, these are a few safety considerations from the government website of the staircase. For example, like the dimension of the railings, the design of it, and the path of walking for emergency. To make sure the safety website is up to date, I went on to research and measure some staircase in industrial area and realized that some railings have vertical posts while some are horizontally, which follows the angle of the steps, and all are slightly in terms of height and angle of it. And also try out the way people would sit and rest at the staircase itself. So these are a few of my design explorations, such as attachment to the existing railings for easy installation and maintenance. Redesigning the staircase, such as changing the form of the steps so it can be interchangeable to a slope for people to lie down on, or the material used on it to provide more cushioning. Next will be changing the form of the railings, such as the user can lean or sit on it directly. Eventually, due to many safety considerations of the shape of the railings and steps, I chose the direction of creating an attachment onto existing staircase. And these are a few design aspects which I have to take note of. These are a few positions which people normally sit on the staircase itself, and I've chosen the upright position because it is neither too uncomfortable nor too comfortable. and it is just the right angle for people to power nap without any form of device to wake them up, because if they are in a maximized comfortable position, they will oversleep. These are a few attachment methods such as using rope, velcro, hook, and screw locking method. The ergonomic shape is therefore not suitable for my design intention, as it will be too comfortable for the user. Let me emphasize, these are a few design intent for my project. There will be no extra support at the neck back area, which includes the extension of space at the butt area. However, there will be a softer material to give the user an illusion that it is very comfortable, even though it is just a thin layer of cushioning. The panel must be big enough to cover up the gaps in between the railings. Hence, my design intent is to improve the comfort level, yet not maximizing it, as it will result in a longer nap, which does not have the same benefits as power nap. So I started off with making a cardboard prototype and proof of concept with different users to gain feedback on what to improve on, such as the surface can be slightly softer, and also how strong it is to hold the person's body weight when they lean sideways and backwards at the same time. If there's only one side panel, the user head will either fall in front or backwards, hence there's a need for both panels. Next, I decided to use the actual material meant for my final product and do a final proof of concept with the chosen locking mechanism to test how durable it is at the staircase. And it works, so I proceed with making of the final model by cutting the lead screw and wooden panel into desired shape and length. The reason I saw away the triangle from the corner of the back panel is because when it is swing open, it will hit the steps, hence it have to be above the ground. To make sure the back panel looks seamlessly into one piece when closed, I placed an additional triangle at the corner of the side panel. However, of course, I met with some technical issues such as the bracket to hold the panel and the self-close hinge thickness. Hence, I have to create a border around the flat panel to compensate the thickness of the hinge. I also create a bracket for the nut instead of embedding the nut into the wood, because if I were to CNC it, it will destroy the fiber of the surface, hence weaken the wood structure. And this would be the final design of the handle and the arrangement of the nut bracket on the product itself. My final design will be based on this mood board, which is kind of minimalistic, warm, and calm feelings. However, due to the closure of school because of the virus, I couldn't complete what I intend to. So next is a short video of how my product zone out will be like when assembled together and attached onto the staircase railings. This will be the exploded view of my product. It shows the material of each individual parts. Of course, these are some close-up shot of the rendered product. So, there are actually few meanings behind my product name and design. The name itself refers to a mood and also a place. The danger design is to warn others when they are walking down the stairs, as when the product is being used, it will take up almost half of the walking path. The blue and yellow represent calm, yet a warm place for the user to be in it. Lastly, the blue stripes are filled with words and concerns of millennials towards working culture in Singapore. As people know me as a stubborn person, at the same time determined, I decide to continue to finish my physical model with whatever tools I can get at home. This will be how the fabric is being attached onto the wood panel, and there's a gap between the border for the hinge itself, so that when anything happens to the product itself, they can just change that individual part without removing or destroying other area. As you have seen, the fabric being used is 3D air mesh fabric. It is similar to the outdoor fabric. The outdoor fabric is ideal because the cushion within it is more comfortable and obvious, and the color does not change when it got wet. But it is quite expensive compared with the air mesh fabric. Hence, what I can do is to get darker colors instead. Next is an actual video of how the person can install it onto the stairs for other people to use it. So these are some close-up and installation of the panel using 4 lock at the back. The handle and the back is both made of rubber, which increase the friction of it. Hence it will be even more secure, which you have seen in the video, the damaged test part. Also, the panel will be fit into the gap in between the railings and the steps. When it's not in use, it will not block anybody's path when they are walking down. Lastly, this will be the production method for zone out, such as CNC method for the wood and metal part, the way the fabric is being attached to the wood piece, and how the rubber is being produced for the handle and the back panel. So what have I learned during this process of this project, and what interests me the most? I learned that talking to more people helps me in gaining more insight for my design direction, and of course, the learning of making animation, editing video, and creating my product out of raw materials. Lastly, the most enjoyable part for me is not the final outcome of how it looked like, but the observation and research I've done when I'm exploring around Singapore, talking to people around these locations. And lastly, the first step in solving any problem is to recognizing there is one. Hence, the problem here would be the working culture in Singapore in accepting that power naps helps in work productivity and our daily life. Thank you for your time.